I'm here with Mark Hamill's daughter.
Whoa.
Come across just a bit.
Special.
We're gonna
What an
get-
intro.
Welcome, it's Mark Hamill's daughter. No, welcome. This is Erin. Hello, everyone. Yes.
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 Yes, everyone.
So
Okay.
exciting. Bring the energy. All right. So today I am recording with my phone because I couldn't find my other microphone. The lapel didn't work. So you kind of have to just roll with it sometimes. It's life, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to make what you got. You will get used to it. You can just bring it up close to your mouth.
Characteristics.
But that's it. We're just going to chat. This is Erin's first time on a podcast.
Slightly nervous.
You're okay though. You're holding it together. It's fantastic, and you're good.
Yeah. So Nick, you know Erin. I don't know Erin.
Who is Erin?
So for somebody
Don't ask me
that's
that
like me,
question, no.
I don't know you.
Yes.
What's your elevator pitch, I suppose, of yourself? Maybe that's too businessy. But what's the
In
sort
what
of
way? In what
like-
way?
like, who are you?
How
Like,
would
who
you
are you?
like to know me?
Give us an overview of who you are.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Or
not
start at the
Who do
beginning.
you think you are?
Who do I think? Wow. Okay, we're already getting
Okay,
deep
we're
into
going
these
deep in.
questions. Okay.
No, just like if you had to like describe who you are in like an Instagram bio, what would you be? Like,
You now have 100
I'm
characters.
gonna be really like gay here, but a child of the universe.
Nice.
ooh, I like that.
Yeah?
I like
Is
that.
that a way to?
Child of the universe.
Child of the universe. Someone that you brought with.
Not the universe,
No.
just a child of it.
I am part of the universe, but
Yeah.
child of the universe.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
an energy that walks this earth.
Why?
Interesting.
How did you come to that conclusion or that idea?
What
The
was
idea?
the beginning of this journey?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
God, it's
since
so
the
deep.
beginning of time.
Yeah.
How I came to that conclusion. I guess it's someone who doesn't want to identify themselves as their name or what they do as a living, because I feel like that's not who I am. That's just what I do. But a child of the universe, meaning we're all individuals that walk this planet, right? We're all energies, we're all frequencies of some sort. And I like to say I'm someone who is a soul spirit and just wants to become the best person of themselves, the version of themselves. And
Told you she's like that, right?
Yeah.
So
oh God,
cool,
what have
right?
you
So
said
cool.
about me, Nick?
He said too many like awful things. I won't
I was
repeat
like,
them now.
I'm like, why did I ask her to do this podcast?
Yeah, he was telling me. I was sitting there like, whoa,
I was like,
man.
me
Who's
this
this?
to do this podcast? Oh God, we're gonna get so deep. I even asked you. I was like, what questions do I need to prep for? Like, do I have to
Yeah.
research? Some
Yeah,
questions?
for
Like,
sure.
I need to have an answer. Just be yourself.
So what-
Like, okay.
What brought you to this? What was there some sort of journey that you came through, or did you grow up like your parents?
Yeah,
like
like-
taught you this sort of stuff.
It's crazy that you say that. So I actually just recently returned from Bali. I was in Bali for a while, about 3 weeks, and I always thought someone like, oh, am I only like, people describe it as woo-woo, okay, but I'm definitely not woo-woo, but just more so I love the spiritual approach to things and kind of keep an open mind, and my thing at the moment is just to stay curious. I like to just be curious. There's no right or wrong way to anything, but the curiosity is what's kind of going to build my path, I feel. But again, with the Bali situation, I had a palm reading, and he had these long nails. Like, I'm talking like Guinness World Records. Did you ever see that woman that had the really long nails?
Yeah.
Anyway, I went into the palm reading, and he said that people think like the spirituality at the moment is like a fad, right? Your crystals, your cards, or whatever. But he actually said I was born and planned from the universe as a spiritual soul, and he knew my family wasn't spiritual. He knew my mum wasn't spiritual, my dad nor my sister, but I was planned from the universe as a soul of spirit, so on purpose. So feeling like my purpose in life right now is to be a healer, and he only said that very few people on this earth get to choose to be a healer or a actual born a healer. So he said you have 3 options. 1, you can choose to use this for yourself and yourself only. 2, you can use this for yourself, your family, your friends, and what you do in life. Or 3, you don't use it at all. So come down to who I am. I feel like I'm a spiritual soul.
Right.
Okay? From birth.
Wow.
Yes.
What led you
I'm
to?
gonna be
Yeah. What's
so
wrong?
annoying right now.
What's wrong?
I listened to everything that you said.
Yes. No! Isn't it on?
Yeah. Oh, it is on. It is on. Thank God. Hang on, is that still pink?
No.
Yeah. Chat. Just say something.
Hello.
And just quickly here as well, like I don't want to change that energy right there because it will pump in, but like that's what happens when you don't have someone behind the camera, is making sure, like I'm here trying to make sure that I'm behind the camera here, but I'm also here.
Yeah.
So like, we're Taylor Swift, everyone's okay.
I'm interested to know what led you to get this palm reading.
It actually came to me on the trip. Like I didn't.
Oh, it was on the trip itself.
It was on the trip, yeah. So I went into this.
So you didn't go to Bali to do this stuff. You just went just for fun, and
no,
that just came
fun.
across.
I did have a purpose behind Bali. Like, I felt like after COVID, I hadn't travelled. I haven't gone out of my what you'd say your comfort zone. Really, I feel like COVID brought me to a state of just doing and like getting through the days and setting yourself little goals here and there, but like making sure you're working, make sure you're earning income, make sure like you're checking in on yourself. But to the point where I was like, I kind of felt lost and I didn't feel grounded. I felt like I was just running around trying to make up time for things that I thought that I'd lost, which I didn't. And I've got ADHD, so when I fixate on something, I fixate on it, and there's nothing else. I can't see past that point. So it got to a point where I would give everything that I would do in every single day a time, and if I don't hit that time, it doesn't get done. So for example, I'll go, okay, 5 p.m. I'm going to go for a walk. If it's 5:15, I think I'm running late. And that's my own time. Like, it's not like I have a clock-in time or a check-in time. Like, 5:15, I'm running late, and I wouldn't go for my walk because it's not on my time.
Where do you think that's come from? Like, have you always kind of been feeling like that? 'Cause
it's an ADHD thing.
Yeah.
And I was just, and then it got to a point where it was just like, I was only seeing life by time and not by present or like purpose, just time.
So this trip was sort of means to escape.
Yeah, I wanted to escape it. So I did a 1-week journey retreat. Okay, this was just health and wellness. They went through like meditation and journaling and breath work and yoga and training and just like overall mindfulness, like health, all around health.
Yeah.
So that was a beautiful experience in itself. And one of the ladies that were on there, she kind of, we got quite close. We started to learn a lot about each other, and she had advised me to this palm reader, and she said he's been booked out for like months, and she thought that she did a really beautiful thing, and she was supposed to get a Reiki and a spiritual healing from him. So that was supposed to be 3 hours, but she wanted to show me him so much that she said, look, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see if he can do a double reading instead. So she put aside her own time because she was just so like sure of this guy for me and him. So she booked me in for him, and then say la vie.
That's so nice.
So that was pretty much it. That's how I got into the palm reading, and then that ended up being just an incredible journey itself.
And how have you kind of digested that after the trip? Like, where you at now with what you've just gone through? Like, has it changed the path of what you thought you were going to do? Like,
definitely.
In life?
Definitely. So being on that trip, I was just solely traveling, not looking at time. And getting back from that trip, I just have taken all of like the time blocking out of my schedule. And obviously work is going to be something I need to make sure is on time. But everything else, I feel like when I feel like I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Put my priorities first. And if I want to go for a walk at 5:15, I'll go for a walk at 5:15.
Sure.
So I feel like I learned a lot about what's more important, what I need to prioritize, and what doesn't really need to be prioritized.
What has that what has that felt like? Has that felt like a big weight's been lifted off? Or?
Oh, hugely.
Yeah.
Hugely. And it makes me, if there's one thing I did grab from that trip, is gratitude. Like, the Balinese are such beautiful people. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, I feel sorry for them because they get paid. Can I swear on this? Shit all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, how raw can I be?
Yeah. Fucking swear.
Yay!
Yeah, we can talk some shit.
We've got a
my
guy
first
coming.
language.
We've got a guy coming in before later. He's going to be nude. He's going to walk across. And
Oh, we get naked on this thing.
No, we're just a guy we hire.
So
okay, cool. So I can't take my pants off.
We've got the 4 Humans Plus channel. So like, basically,
That's it. We've got micro
and then
content.
You just put up the bloopers, right?
The micro content up there.
Extra
That's where he
content.
comes in.
I love that.
Sorry,
I
son.
love that
No, for
fun.
sure.
Where was going to go? So I had a question, right? Especially because I was explaining to Zach before when we first officially met, right? Like, it's such a good like story and experience. Like, when we first made proper face-to-face contact was upstairs here at Mumbo's, and I remember
that was one of the most. Carry on. That was an incredible movie.
It was
it
a
was
great time,
something
right?
I will never forget, and that's the first way I ever met Nick. And it honestly changed me. Like, hearing that come from a complete stranger, which you'll probably explain in a second, was just like, it gave me feeling of how people view me and that people are actually interested in people's lives. And it's not like, and it's not coming from a fake point. Like, I'm not posting things on Instagram to make people believe I'm this someone when I'm not.
Yeah.
He's just picked up who I actually was and seen me grow in ways that no one else I thought that could see me as.
Yeah, I could
sure.
see there was a pivotal point. That's when I came to you, because I think it was through like the mutual people that we knew, and I saw you, and I saw that you were kind of trying to break through. I felt like you were trying to break through from something like, or because you haven't always been where you're at right now in this mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, and forgive me if I'm wrong. Like, you can change. You can be like, no, whatever.
No,
That period of time when I did meet you, were you in a period of like pivoting? You wanted to try and break out of certain, not say bad habits, but things that you were doing in life that kind of didn't feel as like authentic or real to you?
It wasn't like bad habits. It was more so a really, really, really dark time in my life. Not something that I do share with many people.
No, you don't have to share like to these guys.
No. These guys are fine.
Yeah.
But it was more so. It wasn't more so of like who I was and I wanted to change. It was a time in my life that I needed to break out of. So not saying bad habits or unhealthy habits, just a really shit time in my life, and I felt like that ended for me. And then I went through like my own healing and self-development process, and then it just gave me the light at the end. And that's when you seen me, when I started to really feel who I truly was after that really shit time.
Right. It was you could just see that pivotal moment that you were like kind of, you were just breaking through that, and it was really cool to see. And like, for me, who I am as a person, like I love seeing that with people. Like I love seeing people go through things and learn from them, and just even this, what you've gone to, like it's forever growth, it's forever work, it's forever like, not that it needs to be improving that because we're bad, but it's just like we just want to gain the most experience out of life, right? Like,
absolutely.
So why not try and enhance it as much as you can? Exactly. You could have gone to Bali and done the retreat and be like, oh, it was all right. Like, it wasn't as, but you were open to experiencing those things. And I'm sure you weren't going with the expectation to get your palms read, right?
No,
like,
absolutely not.
So it's kind of like...
Going there with an open mind, and that's what I said, like, my point right now is, like, just to stay curious. Go into a trip and be curious. Like, don't have everything planned out for you, because nothing goes to plan. Like, you can break your toe when you walk out of this, but you plan to go for a walk in an hour, but now you can't go for a walk in an hour because you broke your toe, okay? But you didn't break your toe. You didn't plan to break your toe. Nothing goes as planned. No. Yeah, and if you go in with an open mind, you'll never get let down. It's
massively.
Like going out, right? So you're going out this Friday night, you're going to get pissed, like, you're going to go out with your friends, and you're expecting, and your intention is to have a really good time. Your intentions nor expectations will be met, because something bad will happen, because your expectation was so high that to have a good night, that something always happens.
Isn't it
but
funny?
You tell me the best nights that happen is the times that you go to a pub just for one drink. Yeah. You end up 2 a.m. in the morning, have the best time of your life.
Yeah, best time of your life.
No expectation, no intention.
Well, it was like what we were talking about this morning, right? Like how I've shifted. I'm personally going through some stuff of being like lost in life and just kind of the direction that I want to go to. But the thing is, I've always known what I've wanted to do. But I've never been fully confident in doing those things. But I put so much emphasis on the goal and the vision itself. Like, it's like I want these objects, these not just materialistic things, but like, say for instance, I go, I'm going to do a wedding, like my wedding business. I want to have 30 weddings booked by the end of the year, right? And when I get to that point, I'm like, I don't get those 30 weddings. So I'm setting myself up for like an expectation. Like, it's good to push for that, but like, it's like if I put so much emphasis and pressure on myself to get that, but I don't get it, I'm going to be disappointed. So then I feel like that I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough and all this kind of stuff. It's like that in anything in life, right? And that's where I changed my mindset recently to going, what if? What if I just put all my efforts into the things that I enjoy right now? That's, training, of course. My content online, this brand, my wedding stuff. Have a vision of kind of like, or like not a vision, but like a goal of kind of where I want to go, so that I'm not just floating around and just going, what if I just put in all this work for the next 3 months and see what happens? Who will I become? What opportunities will come up? And just go from there, right?
Be curious.
Yeah, and be curious.
Be curious. one thing with goal setting, for example, you set yourself the goal, say X amount of weddings in X
Yeah.
amount of time, but what about the system in place to get you to the end?
Yeah.
It's like people can set all these crazy huge goals to themselves,
Yeah.
but they get so beaten up by what not they haven't met.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
creating the system is how they're going to get
Yeah,
there. The
and
goal is the end product. What about the duration of the
Yeah.
product?
Yeah, and that's where like me proactively putting into action. Like yesterday, I sat down. 2 days ago, I did this concept, and then yesterday I sat down and actually started putting in my calendar. Okay, these are the days I'm doing training. These are the days I'm doing this, and this, and like
Yeah.
actually locking it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you
Exactly.
just realigned your energy, right? Your energy
Yeah.
was always just on what it was, the outcome.
Yeah.
Now your energy is always in like the actions that you take
Mm.
to manifest that outcome.
Yeah.
And so when you realign those energies to be on what you're doing rather than what's going to happen,
Yeah.
you know, you're obviously gonna feel a little bit more better
For
about
sure.
what you're doing, because all your energy, all your expectations, everything that happens is already happening, and you're in that. But when you put it on the further away from you, and the uncertainty and all these things that take place, you get to those places and it's not what you thought was going to happen, then it's just like all these other variables will come into play,
For
where
sure.
you're like, oh damn, like this didn't happen, that didn't, but instead you pulled it back to like a vicinity of you which has less uncertainty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's so much more manageable, right?
Yeah,
And
and
so-
rewarding.
yeah, and
too,
rewarding,
because
yeah.
you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
can't get let down if you don't expect it.
Yeah, it's a little wins, right? Like, you know, it's the little wins, man.
It always is the little wins, isn't
It's always the little wins.
So with this reading, with this journey, with all that sort of stuff, where do you see yourself going from now? Or are you in this sort of interim
I'm
sort of
just in
stage?
a really good flow state.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. It's a
I've
good
been
state
able to
be in.
ground myself in this process and
Yep.
just kind of see life for what we actually have. And like as cliche as it sounds, like we are greedy motherfuckers. Like getting
We
back
are.
from Bali, we are so fucking greedy. Like what we have and how easy it is for us to get it is just like it is luxury to the Balinese. Like they get paid $2 an hour, and it's service like I have not received anywhere in Australia. And they are just happy just to see you smile. And they say the happiest people have less.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I'm not sad about the cult. Like, yeah, it's upsetting knowing that they have to work so hard, but happiness is priceless.
Yeah.
And seeing how happy they are for what they do.
And it's that mindset, like the perspective on life, of course. It's hard unless you've traveled, unless you've seen those things for yourself and experienced, like, with an open mind, going to those places that you don't realize, like, how lucky we do have it here, like, and those other, and like, you know,
Yeah.
America as well, like a lot of those like Western cultures, right? Like we're Western, right? Western cultures.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, and it's always like you could be so happy. Like I said it ages ago. It's just like I've always felt happiest when I didn't have that much money, because I just didn't feel like it's like that problem. It's like more money, more problems kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yet again, that's still a mindset shift. It's like, you know, the more money you have, the more people you can help, right? Like if you think that money brings problems, of course it's going to bring problems, or anything, right? Like
Well, money's
Yeah.
the way the world goes round.
Well,
For sure.
it sounds like you've experienced your life up to this point through this particular type of lens, and now you've finally unleashed that veil.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And
and I think
that's
that's
what it
something that
sounds
I
like.
was missing out a lot in my life. Like, I'm grateful for a lot, but until you actually practice gratitude, like, and that was the first time in a very long time I've actually practiced gratitude properly and in such a, like, an authentic, organic way. Like, without even thinking about it, it would just go, wow, like, I'm actually really appreciative. Not just, like, setting my gratitude journal every morning, feeling like I have to be thankful.
Was there a certain like practice that you did to do that,
No,
or was it just the overall
It's
experience?
just
Was it like,
overall
fuck,
experience. Like,
yeah.
every single day, I became more and more thankful because it's just like I went without something, and then I started to reflect. It's like I wouldn't be without if I was at home, and then just starting they started accumulating over the times I was there, and I was like, wow, like we have everything at arm's reach, and it's so easy to get money if we just use the right ideas and so, like, things like that.
Systems and all that kind of shit. Yeah,
that's the
exactly
word,
right.
but they work. So anything over there to make money. Like people on the side of the road selling mirrors. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how traumatic it would be to smash a mirror on the back of a moped?
Yeah.
Like, I would not be selling mirrors on the back of a moped.
Yeah.
This guy was, and
Yeah.
anything to get a couple of dollars in his pocket.
Yeah.
And it was just mind blowing. Such an incredible experience. And that's
Yeah.
like, I feel like it's something that everyone needs to do to see life for what it is and what we actually have. Like,
Yeah.
people set aside time to go to Bali to party and get drunk and
For sure.
and
Yeah.
go on holidays, but I feel like they need to give them a longer period of time so then they could live and party,
Yeah.
but then adventure and travel.
Well, that's the biggest thing with travel, of course. Like, and not just to say, like, Bali is one of those situations, but even in bigger countries like Greece, just being there recently, like, we were in Athens, and the poverty level, like, it's so gnarly, right? It's the same situation. Like, everyone's just learning to survive and live. And here, it's like, you don't see what you see in those countries. You never see in Australia. You can go anywhere in Australia, and you never see those kind of scenarios where people are trying to sell on the back of trucks or back of bikes and just setting up little stalls every single, like, the street is covered in stalls, or like people just sleeping on the floors everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's so rare that you see that here in Australia, even in the cities. Like, it's fucking crazy. Keep chatting. I'm gonna grab a bottle of water.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
You're right. Hydrate.
Hydrate.
Yeah. No, it's always interesting, whenever you go without, right? You always look within, right? So it's such a typical thing. Not to say that it's typical means any less or worthlessness. It just means that it's just like when you go through these types of things, these revelations always come present because you filled your mind so much with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to hear or be present in things when you are so already full, right? It's not until you empty the cup, right, that you can fill it back up again. And so it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you just went through a process of emptying that cup, and now you're in a process of like reevaluating and refilling that type of cup.
I feel like it's like the whole one door closes, another one opens, but I feel like it's like a variety of things. It's like, I'm done with where I am in my life, so I'm going to close that door, and I'm going to go out and endeavor and find new things in my life, so then I can open that door again. But it's like when something ends in your life, you open the door and you go through it again, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's nothing that ended. I was just done with where I was at, and I felt like, okay, I need to feel more. I want to do more. I want to see more. I want to think differently. I want to go in every day with an open mind and not feel like I'm stuck or have second thoughts or that second voice running through my head of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough? It's like, we can only do enough, right?
Yes.
There's never going to be more. It's like, you can only do as much as you're capable of doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel like people beat themselves up every single day because people think they paint a picture of themselves, or others paint a picture of them, so they're trying to live up to other people's expectation. It's just like, but why? It's like, if you're not doing something exciting in your life, it's like, people aren't going to see me then. If I'm not doing something really exciting in my life, how are people going to view me? It's like, well, why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Yeah, it only takes about 2 or 3 generations for everybody to die and never know you again. You know what
Living
I mean?
life for purpose of someone else.
Yeah.
It's a killer.
Yeah, that's it. Alex Mozzie.
A guy that we follow on social. He's
Oh.
really cool.
He put that up.
This morning.
Yeah,
There's an inside joke that I'm
true, right?
It is. Yeah, it only takes like, I don't know my great-grandfather. Like, some people do, some people don't, but like, generally, most people aren't going to know that far back, and then you think about it, you extrapolate that out. It's like, well, why am I living my life for things and living in a way of which are controlled or in some way navigated by things that aren't me? You know what I mean? So it's an interesting thought process once you go down the road of like taking that away, and start to sort of take these things, again, back to the cup analogy, you empty the cup out, right? And you realize that you're like, oh, hang on a second. Like, I am this cup right here. And like, what I'm filling myself with right now is things that I have been mindless about, right?
Yeah.
It's not until you have that revelation that like, I am the cup, that you start to realize like, oh, hang on a second. Let me just, think about the things that I'm doing. Think about like, why am I responding to people like that? Why am I thinking about things like that? Why is that coming through like that? Like, why am I having these thoughts? Like, you get angry and you think, you sit back, you're like, why am I angry? It's like,
but there's awareness too,
you
though,
break it
and
down.
some people don't have the awareness and question themselves why they are where they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like if you were to, it's like the question you asked me at the start of the podcast, like, who are you? It's like you ask that to someone with a closed mind, they're going to come back with their first name and what they do for a job.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but if you're awareness, if you're conscious, they go, hang on a minute, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And they'll come back with, this is who I am.
Yeah, you know what's also funny about that stuff as well is actually what you were talking about as well, and what you struggle with, which is, I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but it was that the people like wake up and they do their thing, and you feel like you're like, oh, you could be so much more. But I'm so opposite end of the spectrum. I'm like, yeah, they could be, but they're not. Who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like whatever. Yeah. Like, if that's it's just this. And I was talking to Nick this morning. It's like you want to be mindful of the words you're sort of speaking about, and I've been thinking about this lately a lot too. It's like this otherness in your sentences and in your words and the things you talk about. It's like, oh, other people are like this, or people are like this, or people say this, and it's like this otherness other than yourself. And while it makes grammatical sense and stuff, and you have to utilize that for sentences, for some instances to make sense, but it's like this weight of this validation is always in this opposite or otherness. And it's like, you've got to be careful about how you're speaking, because words are spells, right? And they have power. That's it. Exactly it. Yep. And you've got to be mindful about the things that you say, because you know everything comes down to our thoughts, right? And what we're speaking is just a reflection of our thoughts. And so even to that level, you know, it's just being that much more aware of just even the things you're saying on a daily basis, right? Like, I think about this all the time. Like I laugh and I get happy, and then, you know, you sort of reflect, like, why am I happy? You know, or like more prevalently is like you get angry at something, you blow up about something, you think about, like, why am I angry? Like, am I just angry because this thing has made me upset, or am I angry because I think this is how I should react in this instance? You know, and a lot of the time I find myself thinking, like, I think this is just how I should react in this instance because something has inconvenienced me.
See,
you know,
what catches me in what you just said is like thoughts and then speaking, right? If you were to think something but you weren't to speak it afterwards, your thoughts will then become more thoughts and think your thoughts, right? But if you were to talk to yourself and answer your thoughts, you'll get your answers. Yes. It's like getting stuck in a spiral. If you continuously keep thinking, you'll get stuck in the thinking spiral. But if you were to pull yourself up and actually go, oh, I'm thinking of something, and then you ask yourself out loud, it's like, why am I thinking like that? Then you come back with an answer. Whereas if you don't ask yourself a question in your head will continuously keep thinking.
100%. And then try and think like that when you're already so full up on other things. Like, it's
right?
impossible. You can't do it, right? Like, my mind, like, you sit there for hours scrolling mindlessly. And this is just for me, for my instance, like, you sit there, scroll, and now I can't think properly because, like, my mind's so full on this just random shit. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like, for better or worse, I feel by default we live in a life of haze, right? Just by
unconscious people.
But you know, we all are. You know, you're just born into unconsciousness, right? Yeah. And I think that's an aspect of why, you know, this is the dream that we have, right? Like, we're supposed to forget that we're the dreamer, right? This is why life is so exciting, because we forget that, you know, we chose this life, right? At the beginning of wherever we came from, right? Before we entered into here to forget, you know, we chose that, right? But the whole exciting thing is that we forgot. For better or worse. For better or worse.
Right, the day we just all forgot.
Yeah. For better or worse, it was what makes it exciting.
I'm going to check the cameras, but I think we're going to leave it here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, God. I thought we could just go there, like, talk about that spiral. I feel like we could just talk.
You could go forever.
Honestly, you could. There's so many things to share, and, like, so many things that pop up, and, like, you say something like, oh, that reminds me.
Yes.
There's so much, and then that's what's so fun about doing podcasts, right? As I said, it's like, it's just a conversation, and you forget that the cameras are here. You forget that we're just talking.
Oh yeah, these guys are here.
You know, what'd be exciting to do is actually have you back, like, in like 12 months time or 6 months time, and just see, like,
it's
where
a form of journaling.
It's a form of journaling. A little bit, and just see how things have progressed or panned out.
Yeah,
you know?
That's it. And then you can, like, play back your videos, like, well, you said this here. Do you still feel that here? It's like, no.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Absolute pleasure.
You come in here.
I'm the technician, the editor, the creator,
come in
everything, and I'm like, okay.
come in. No, say your piece. Say your piece.
No, that's totally fun. No. It's for you today. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I just thought, you know, having you on, you adding so much more value from your perspective, because every time we've spoke, it's just been so powerful and passionate and just about life, and it's just like, and having these kind of conversations, I feel, have when people consume this kind of stuff and when they do and all that kind of, it's so much better than just fucking fart jokes. Like, I love fart jokes. I love all that kind of dumb shit sometimes. You know
Someone
what I mean?
will just throw a dead baby joke in there one day.
Yeah. And it's like, it has its time and place, but like at the end of the day, these conversations are the ones that like I hope people leave this podcast just thinking about life.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. It's like being curious.
Yeah.
Stay
Be curious.
curious.
Hey, I think this is that's going to be the title. Be curious.
Stay curious. Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay
Stay
curious.
curious. I
Yeah,
like
be
it.
curious, but stay curious.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Appreciate it.